Good evening, everyone. It is Monday night, May 15th, 6:30. Please rise for the pledge. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Clerk Brady, roll call, please.
Commissioner Kruger?
Present.
Commissioner Raffato?
Here.
Commissioner Vogel?
Here.
Commissioner Papantos?
Present.
Commissioner Vito?
Here.
Commissioner Lang?
Here.
Chairperson Horker?
Here, you have before you the minutes of the special meeting of April 17th, 2023. Can I have a motion for their approval?
So moved. Second.
Motion, Commissioner Papantos, second, Commissioner Vogel. Roll call, please.
Commissioner Raffato?
Yes.
Commissioner Vogel?
Yes.
Commissioner Papantos?
Yes.
Commissioner Vito?
Yes.
Commissioner Lang?
Yes.
Commissioner Kruger?
Yes.
Chairperson Horker?
Yes.
No citizens today.
Brings us right into the meeting. What do we got, clerks?
6A, consideration of a request to update the floor plan associated with the Class B and Class D-4 liquor license held by CESAM LLC for Westtown Bakery at 781 North Milwaukee Avenue.
Mr. Spondelis.
Thank you. Before you this evening is a request to amend an existing liquor license that has a map attached to it. On that floor plan, this consideration would remove a lounge that is associated currently with Westtown Bakery. It would remove that area from its approved floor plan. This item comes in conjunction with 13A of the regular meeting, which is for an associated business of the OK Dispensary for an on-site consumption lounge. Under state law, cannabis consumption cannot occur on the premises of a liquor retailer. Therefore, the existing liquor license needs to be amended to remove that area from the floor plan. That's all that this is, and staff recommends making approval for the request to modify the floor plan conditional upon the village board approval of OK's special use request. Happy to answer any questions, and the petitioner is here.
Questions or comments? Right, left? If we have no questions from the...
So moved.
Motion, Commissioner Lang, second.
Second.
Commissioner Vogel, roll call, please.
Commissioner Vogel?
Yes.
Commissioner Papantos?
Yes.
Commissioner Vito?
Yes.
Commissioner Lang?
Yes.
Commissioner Kruger?
Yes.
Commissioner Raffato?
Yes.
Chairperson Horker?
Yes. That is all the business we have in the Liquor Control Commission for the evening. I would like a motion for the adjournment.
So moved.
Second.
Commissioner Raffato, second. Commissioner Kruger, all in favor?
Aye.
Yes. Liquor Control Commission is adjourned. I would like to call to order the regular meeting of the Village Board for May 15th, 2023. Clerk Brady, roll call, please.
Hold on just a second.
Come on.
The computer doesn't move as fast.
Just when I figure out what I'm doing.
I know. Trustee Vogel?
Here.
Trustee Papantos?
Present.
Trustee Vito?
Here.
Trustee Lang?
Here.
Trustee Kruger?
Present.
Trustee Raffato?
Here.
President Horker?
Here. You have before you the minutes of this regular meeting of April 17th, 2023. I need a motion for their approval.
So moved.
Second.
Motion, Trustee Raffato, second, Trustee Vogel. Roll call, please.
Trustee Papantos?
Yes.
Trustee Vito?
Yes.
Trustee Lang?
Yes.
Trustee Kruger?
Yes.
Trustee Raffato?
Yes.
Trustee Vogel?
Yes.
President Horker?
Yes. Changes to the agenda?
There are no changes this evening.
Clerk Brady.
Oh yeah, I have a proclamation.
Proclamations, please.
National Public Works Week, May 21st through the 27th. Whereas the services provided by the public works personnel in our community are an integral part of our citizens' everyday lives. And whereas the support of the understanding and informed citizenry is vital to the effect operations of public works program and systems, such as water, sewer, streets, engineering, urban forestry, public buildings, and fleet maintenance. And whereas the health, safety, and comfort of our community greatly depends on those facilities and services, especially in times of flooding, snow, and ice control, or water distribution for fire protection, business, and residential use. And whereas the quality and effectiveness of these facilities, as well as their planning, design, maintenance, and construction, are dependent upon the efforts and skills of public works employees. And whereas the efficiency of the qualified and dedicated personnel who start Public Works Department is influenced and supported by citizens' attitudes and understanding of the importance of the work they perform. And whereas this year marks the 63rd Annual National Public Works Week, sponsored by the American Public Works Association, APWA, Patrick Corker, President of the Village of Wheeling, does hereby proclaim May 15th through May 27th, first, 2022 as National Public Works Week in Wheeling.
I realize it says 22, but I think we mean 23.
23?
2023.
Oh, thank you. Sorry about that.
No, it's mistyped.
Wheeling calls upon all citizens and civic organizations to acquaint themselves with the issues involved in providing our public works and recognize the contributions which public works employees mark to our health, safety, welfare, and quality of life.
Thank you. You know, this is the, hi, Dan.
I was going to say something nice.
You guys are really the ones who keep the whole village running. I mean, this is Peace Officers Week, and today is Policeman's Day, and it is, you know, certainly, I mean, we couldn't live without you guys. And last week was Fire Prevention Week and Fireman's Week, wasn't it? No?
Firefighter Memorial.
Firefighter Memorial. You can correct me. And I mean, the three of you guys' departments are basically the foundation for the village. I mean, the police, they keep everybody safe. And we have an amazing police department. We have an amazing police chief. I so enjoy that I don't have to worry about showing up in a headline somewhere trying to explain something. And I do attribute a lot of that to your guidance, Chief Dunn, Chief McGreal, the fire department. We give you guys everything you want, and you outperform anything we could ask for. You're absolutely worth everything. But the people that generally aren't thought of are public works. I mean, you guys are the ones who are out there. Well, people do think of you when they get their driveway plowed shut. I hear about that periodically. But you guys are the ones who keep the water running. You're the ones who fix the everyday problems, and you keep like the main body of the village functioning. So all three of you, thank you so much. Dan, thank you. The chiefs, thank you very much for all you do for the village. So, yes. Now I have spoken way too much.
All right. How do you
Clerk.
want to do this appointments? Do you have to vote first, or do I?
I would like, yes, we do have some reappointments. Could you please, should I read them?
You need a motion.
Well, I need a motion to well, shouldn't I list who we're reappointing?
You sure can. Motion to reapprove the list.
I would like a motion to reappoint John Kolsak, Mike Murphy, Al Palicki, Bill Hellier, Ray Lang, Mike Sprague, Paul Butler, Marianne Marabella, Julie Ball, and Christine Malone to their previous positions on all of the commissions. I'm sorry, I know that was quick, but there's a lot of commissions. So may I please have a motion to
So
reappoint?
moved.
Second.
Trustee Vogel, second trustee Kruger. Roll call, please.
Trustee Kruger,
Yes.
trustee Rufato,
Yes.
trustee Vogel,
Yes.
trustee Papantos.
Yes.
Trustee Vito,
Yes.
trustee Lang.
Yes.
President Horker.
Yes, and now you guys are all going to be sworn. Clerk Brady?
John and Al first, please. You go first. Oh, wait a second. All right. John, raise your right hand, please. I, John Kolsak,
I, John Kolsak,
having been reappointed to the Board of Fire and Police Commission
have been reappointed to the Board of Police and Fire Commission
in the Village of Wheeling,
in the Village of Wheeling,
in the counties of Cook and Lake, as aforesaid,
in the counties of Cook and Lake, as aforesaid,
do solemnly swear
do solemnly swear
that I will support the Constitution of the United States
that I will support the Constitution of the United States
and the Constitution of the State of Illinois,
and the Constitution of the State of Illinois,
and that I will faithfully discharge the duties
and I will faithfully discharge the duties
of the Office of Commissioners
of the Office of Commissioners
according to the best of my ability.
according to the best of my ability.
Okay, congratulations.
Thank you.
I just need you to sign right there, please. Thank you. I, Al Palicki,
I, Al Palicki,
having been reappointed to the Board of Fire and Police Commission,
having been
appointed to
reappointed to
the
the Fire and Police Commission
in the Village of
in
Wheeling,
the Village of Wheeling,
in the counties of Cook and Lake aforesaid,
in the counties of Cook and Lake aforesaid,
do solemnly swear
do solemnly swear
that I'll support the Constitution of the United States
that I'll support the Constitution of the United States
and the Constitution of the State of Illinois,
and the Constitution of the State of Illinois,
and that I will faithfully discharge the duties
and I will faithfully discharge the duties
of the Office of Commissioner
of the Office of Commissioner
according to the best of my ability.
according to the best of my ability.
Thank you.
Thank you very
Congratulations.
much. Thank you
Can
very
you
much.
please sign your little thing? Yeah. Bill Hellier. Is he here? Oh, yes. Okay. Raise your right hand, please. I, Bill Hellier,
I, Bill Hellier,
having been reappointed to the Chicago Executive Airport Board
having been reappointed to the Chicago Executive Airport Board
in the Village of Wheeling,
in the Village of Wheeling,
in counties of Cook and Lake aforesaid,
in counties of Cook and Lake aforesaid,
do solemnly swear
do solemnly swear
that I'll support the Constitution of the United States
that I'll support the Constitution of the United States
and the Constitution of the State of Illinois,
and the Constitution of the State of Illinois,
and that I will faithfully discharge the duties
and that I will faithfully discharge the duties
of the Office of Board Member
of the Office of Board Member
according to the best of my abilities.
according to the best of my abilities.
Congratulations. I just need you to sign. Right. Right. Again. I know. Thank you. I, Ray Lang,
I, Ray Lang,
having been reappointed to the Chicago Executive Airport Board
having been reappointed to the Chicago Executive Airport Board
in the Village of
in
Wheeling,
the Village of Wheeling,
in the counties of Cook and Lake aforesaid,
in the counties of Cook and Lake and aforesaid,
do solemnly swear
do solemnly swear
that I will support the Constitution of the United States
that I will support the Constitution of the United States
and the Constitution of the State of Illinois,
and the Constitution of the State of Illinois,
and that I will faithfully discharge the duties
and I will faithfully discharge the duties
of the Office of Board Member
of the Office of Board Member
according to the best of my ability.
according to the best of my abilities.
All right, congratulations. Wait, sign. Who's next? Christine. Oh, there she is. Thank you. Hello, raise your right hand, please. I, Christine Maloney,
I, Christine Maloney,
having been reappointed to the Board of Health
having been reappointed to the Board of Health
in the Village of Wheeling,
in the Village of Wheeling,
in the counties of Cook and Lake aforesaid,
in the counties of Cook and Lake aforesaid,
do solemnly swear
do solemnly swear
that I'll support the Constitution of the United States,
that I'll support the Constitution of the United States,
the Constitution of the State of Illinois,
the Constitution of the State of Illinois,
and I'll faithfully discharge the duties
and I'll faithfully discharge the duties
of the Office of Commissioner
of the Office of Commissioner
according to the best of my abilities.
according to the best of my abilities.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
I just need you to sign that. And I think we're done, right? That's it?
Yes. Yes.
Okay. Okay. Citizens. Okay, I have 3 of them today.
Okay.
Citizen concerns and comments. Members of the public may address the board with comments regarding issues related to village business. No citizen shall speak more than 5 minutes without consent of the board. Members of the general public who wish to address the board must sign a request to speak form prior to the commencement of the public meeting. We have Lloyd Morris first.
And just as a reminder, this is a time for citizens to make their comments, express their concerns, and for the board to listen. Neither board nor staff will be answering questions. Good evening.
Hi, thank you for allowing me the time to speak today. So I live in Wheeling. A lot of my friends and I live in the neighborhood. We all hang out together, and I just wanted to say that we do visit the dispensary on occasion, all of us do, and we are looking forward to the opportunity of using it as a consumption lounge. And we think it's a great idea and a great thing for the community to have. And that's all I have to say.
Thank you, sir.
Al Marble.
Hey everybody, thanks for giving me a few minutes here. I'll try to be quick. Al Marble, I actually do not live in the village. I'm in Hawthorne Woods. Been up in Lake County now for about 30 years, but previous to that I did live in Wheeling. So spent a ton of time down here commercially, including Bob Chen's, El Famous Burrito, still one of my favorites. You put Cooper's Hawk in here. You got the place across the street, District Brew Yards. And then when OK showed up, I started to wonder what was going on there. I'm not a big cannabis guy. I do use it very seldomly, but it's not just a recreational thing. It is used for people who need it for certain reasons. And I popped in there just to take a look at what was going on, and I found it very impressive to come by. And I still haven't even been into the dispensary itself, but the bakery and the bar are really cool. And I find it to be exactly what the village has looked for over the years. The kind of place that sort of brings things together and is different than what you've seen before. So wholeheartedly support it and expect that you'll continue to do good things for the village. Thanks.
Thank you, sir.
Deborah Wilson.
Hi, the primary purpose of government is to keep people safe. And I'm just trying to rack my brain to imagine how the state of Illinois says it's illegal to drive a vehicle under the influence of marijuana. And then yet my local officials want to put a lounge in where people can sit there and smoke weed and then get in their car and then drive on the road. So it's a major thoroughfare, Milwaukee Avenue. I think it's really a public safety risk, and it saddens me. I don't think it's going to be worth the revenue it brings in. The seating capacity isn't that large. They already bring in a boatload of money just with the sales. That parking lot is packed. They're doing a great business there. They're bringing in a lot of money. I just think that we shouldn't be greedy and go for every little extra bit we can get. I think that it's going to be dangerous. It's not like they want to set this thing up next to the train station where people can take public transportation to get home. So I would just really be saddened to see, accidents. Whenever there's an accident, law enforcement, as part of their police report, always asks, so where were you coming from? And I just have ideas of, people say, no, I came from the marijuana smoking lounge in Wheeling. And, I think it could get us a really bad reputation. I think it's a bad idea. I think it's great if people want to go there and buy it and put it in their bag and take it home. And, in the safety of their home where they don't have to, they're not going to be driving anywhere else. So that's my only real concern with this. Additionally, I think we might be in trouble with some due process issues here. We're the managerial form of government, that part of the municipal code says that you need to count, you're not allowed to count when you're computing the days for a public hearing and notice. There's a few problems here, according to statute. You're not allowed to include weekend days or holidays, and that Monday after Easter was considered a public holiday, plus it has to be no less than 15 days and not more than 30 days. You need to notice the public. And this was in the Daily Herald newspaper on March 28th, and the hearing was on the 12th. So I think we've got an issue there. Additionally, the Illinois Municipal Code says you need to state the names of the owners in the public hearing. So I have a copy of the one you put in the Daily Herald, and you failed to put in the equity owner, the guy that's owns the biggest chunk of it. Mayfield, he's the interim CFO for Chicago Public Schools. His name and address was not there. And so David Weiner, it listed the acronym for that company, and then also, let me see if it's, whatever the name of it was two companies. And so the name of the person you put on there and that address, it was a minority holder. And for public notice purposes, an equitable owner, or it has to be the equitable or beneficial owner. So anybody deriving the bulk of the financial benefit from it, their name and address should be listed. I just would love to see more time for people in Wheeling that might have concerns about public safety to have another chance for a public hearing to come forward. It was very smug and disturbing of David Weiner to come up here and joke with the Plan Commission. Oh, thanks for the crowd control. Wink, wink. It was just really a slap in the face to Wheeling residents. So I guess if he wants to feel like he's kind of skirting by on a technicality, but I would just really hate for anybody that we love and have known and grown up here, to be involved in a fatality. Additionally, the state of Illinois, the Cannabis Lounge, or whatever there's a law that they can't be serving food in a lounge because it slows down the consumption, it slows down the processing of the marijuana. So if they're eating food, that 30-minute cool down is not going to be very helpful to anybody. Additionally, there cannot be food preparation in a dispensary. Okay, so we've got a kitchen in there. There's just a lot of statutory problems with this. So they need to make up their mind. Are they doing food or are they doing weed? You can't do both in the same building. And because there are doors, even though they're separate entities, it's the same building. There are doors that go between both entities, and it's considered the same building. I don't want this to slide by and leave a bad feeling for people if they didn't get a chance to speak. So, and I would really hate to see someone get hurt. The statistics I've read, when you have alcohol combined with marijuana, the fatalities are much worse. In Colorado, they had 133% increase in traffic fatalities after the lounges became a thing. So, please give this public hearing a redo.
Thank you, Ms. Wilson. Clerk Brady, staff consent agenda.
Okay. Consent agenda. All items listed on the consent agenda are considered to be routine by the village board and will be enacted by one motion. There will be no separate discussion of these items unless the board member or citizen so request, in which event the item will be removed from the general order of business and considered after all other agenda items. 13A, resolution approving a seventh amendment to Village of Wheeling's contract with Jeans Village Towing. 11B, ordinance amending chapter 4.32 of the Village of Wheeling's Municipal Code, alcohol liquor dealers, specifically section 4.32.085, to decrease the authorized number of Class B and Class D-4 liquor license. 11C, resolution approving a one-year extension on a previous bid, municipal partnering intuitive contract with Precision Pavement Marking, Inc. for the fiscal year 2023 pavement marking program in the amount not to exceed $32,221.30. 11D, resolution approving a publicly bid contract with CAD Contract Glazing, Inc. for the window replacement project in the amount not to exceed $54,900 in fiscal year 2023. 11E, resolution waiving competitive bidding and approving purchase of a water meter and related parts and materials from Corin, Maine in the amount not to exceed $35,000 in fiscal year 2023. 11F, resolution authorizing village president to execute an intergovernmental agreement with the Village of Buffalo Grove to establish maintenance, responsibility, and cost sharing for the new streetlights on Lake Cook Road. 11G, ordinance amending Title II, Chapter 2.91, Senior Citizen Commission of the Wheeling Municipal Code to adjust the compensation of the Senior Commission.
Composition.
Oh, sorry,
No
compensation.
compensation. May I have a motion to approve?
So moved.
Motion trustee Papantos, second.
Second.
Trustee Lang, roll call, please.
Trustee Rufato?
Yes.
Trustee Vogel?
Yes.
Trustee Papantos?
Yes.
Trustee Vito?
Yes.
Trustee Lang?
Yes.
Trustee Krueger?
Yes.
President Horker?
Yes. New business.
13A, ordinance granting special use approval to permit the on-site consumption of cannabis within an existing licensed cannabis dispensary at 781 North Milwaukee Avenue, CESAM's LLC, doing business as OK Cannabis, docket number 2023-15.
Mr. Clicker, you are up.
Yes, as Clerk Brady cited, this is a request by CESAM LLC doing business as OK Cannabis, seeking a special use approval to permit cannabis consumption lounge within its existing licensed cannabis dispensary at 781 North Milwaukee. This item was heard before the Plan Commission on April 12th. I should, before I go into their conditions, just state that the village code does allow on-premise cannabis consumption only at a licensed cannabis dispensary, subject to the issuance of a special use, and includes the following regulations for on-premise consumption of cannabis. 1, that it maintain a specially designated area or areas for the purpose of heating, burning, smoking, or lighting cannabis. 2, is limited to individuals 21 years of age or older. And 3, maintains a locked door or barrier to any specifically designated areas for the purpose of heating, burning, smoking, or lighting cannabis. With those regulations, their special use hearing was heard on April 12th at the Plan Commission. The Plan Commission did recommend approval of it with 10 conditions. I will read those conditions, and then one of those conditions has actually been modified for presentation into the ordinance that is before you, because the petitioner has met many of those many of the requirements of this condition. So condition 1, it's a long one, says that a report of the planned internal exhaust system for qualified mechanical engineer for the cannabis consumption lounge and a description of how all other areas of the building will be insulated from marijuana fumes shall be submitted. In addition, it shall be demonstrated that the consumption lounge will be served by an independent air supply and mechanical exhaust system that does not service any other internal areas of the building. Such report and determination must be submitted to the Community Development Department prior to any action by the village board. That is the part of the condition that has been met. So with that, the condition now reads that an application for building permit shall be submitted to the Community Development Department for review of any modifications to the existing mechanical HVAC systems. No modifications to the existing building, including but not limited to any mechanical systems, equipment shall be conducted until the issuance of a building permit. All work shall be completed and successfully pass all required permit inspections before any use of the consumption lounge shall occur. Conditions 2 through 10, I will read through there, and I would just like to point out that most of these conditions were actually suggested or derived from the petitioner themselves. That condition 2, the sale and or consumption of any alcohol in the consumption lounge is prohibited. 3, all food to be consumed within the consumption lounge shall not be prepared in the consumption lounge space, including any non-public areas. 4, cannabis-infused edibles and or food products shall not be consumed in the consumption lounge. 5, all cannabis to be consumed at or within the cannabis lounge shall be first purchased at the dispensary licensed at the subject site on the same day on which consumption will occur. 6, no paraphernalia other than smoking devices and or aids shall be permitted to be used unless purchased directly from the dispensary licensed at the subject site. 7, there shall be no cannabis products offered, provided, or distributed as samples to be consumed within the consumption lounge or the licensed dispensary, including but not limited to any classes, demonstrations, sessions, or product presentations. 8, reservation shall be required for any person accessing the consumption lounge, excluding registered staff of the licensed dispensary, and said reservation shall not exceed a stay of 90 minutes with an additional 30-minute cool-down period. Private events with pre-registration may exceed the 90-minute time frame. 9, the consumption lounge is limited to the areas shown on the floor plan prepared by Strep Architecture Studio dated 3/16/23. And 10, the special use for the consumption lounge is limited to CESAM LLC, DBA OK Cannabis, and cannot be transferred or assigned to any successors. With those conditions, this was recommended for approval by the Plan Commission.
Thank you, Mr. Clicker. Trustee Kruger, you had a question or two? Yes. Oh, I'm sorry. Wait.
Petitioner has a
presentation. Yeah, I mean, it's up to the board, I think.
Yeah, come on up. Sorry, got ahead of myself there.
Good evening. Do I need to be sworn in?
No.
Thanks, everybody. Thank you, trustees. Nice to see everyone again, and everyone who showed up today. Happy to answer any of your questions and sort of walk you through what we're hoping to do here in the consumption lounge. Do I have the, there we go. So as we now know, there's 185 new licenses across the state that 19 so far have opened. Eventually there will be 500 of these licenses. We're excited about the way, sorry, I'm just jumping right in. We're excited for the way we've opened. There's definitely been a nice reception to the bakery, the dispensary and everything. But at the end of the day, there's going to be 500 licenses within this state. And Mr. Marble, who spoke up here, Al, we actually met. He's from outside of the community, and he's a great, we met because I'm a present owner, and he happened to be there. And it's a great example of how so far this unique operation in Wheeling is driving people and drawing people into Wheeling. And I think that maintaining that competitive advantage over other municipalities is going to be important as more dispensaries open. As we've all heard, and I'm following along, I know there's a study on Restaurant Row and what needs to happen within Wheeling to reinvigorate. And to a certain extent, we anchor it at one side from Wheeling. I understand on the other side is unincorporated, and would love to see something happen there too. But at the end of the day, this is Lake Cook and Milwaukee. There is a lot of people that are coming here, and it's such a unique place that this is going to just provide another opportunity, something unique that Restaurant Row has within Wheeling. And people are asking for it. Since day one, people assumed that we had it, and we've had to tell people we don't. There's a demand for it. And if there wasn't, if we hadn't heard people coming in and asking when, can't wait, I'll be back, and to a certain extent, disappointment that it wasn't there in such a large space, which ultimately is well suited for it, we may not be here today. Moving on to the next page, there is an expectation that I'm a professional, my team are professionals, and that we're going to run a safe environment for people that come through here. Not to read through paragraphs, but I do oversee over 20 establishments since 15 years. I'm partners with the Cubs, Blackstone, hotels, First Hospitality, and I'm trusted to run safe operations. And to this day, we have a perfect safety record over the last 15 years that I've been in business. And that going further in operations I managed prior, my team's run by professionals. This is not a fly-by-night company here. I have a lot at stake by maintaining a good reputation, not just within this community, but within the city and the state. And I'm able to prove that through my track record over the years. It's not worth it to me to have an operation where somebody goes out into our community, into our society, and does something that's going to negatively impact it, as at the end of the day, it's going to ruin my reputation, as well as my insurance, and then I will eventually close. So safety has been taken important. Moving on to the next page, this is online for everyone who wants to read, but we're not the first consumption lounge. We're not even the first one within a 15-minute drive, a 20-minute drive. Mundelein opened about a year ago, and not only has it been successful, I believe Officer Dunn has been in contact with their police department, and I'm not aware of any issues. Nothing's been brought to my attention, and we've had an ongoing dialogue with the local police force to make sure that everything we do prior to us having a consumption license, if we are awarded it, making sure that we're in constant dialogue, that we're running a professional operation. And ultimately, on the next page, we talk a little bit about our vision. We talk about delivery devices, and we're not talking about ripping bongs in the consumption lounge here. This is a place where we believe first and foremost, it's a great opportunity for people to be educated, to learn about cannabis, myself included. I've learned a ton since the dispensary's opened. But on top of 500 dispensaries that will eventually open in Illinois, there's also a lot of craft grow and other businesses that are connected to this industry. Consumption lounges are a place where the corporate dollars that are coming into the cannabis industry can come and rent you out to, not do a free sample by any means, but promote their product. there is a ton of opportunities to bring more corporate business to Wheeling, which I think also benefits the local restaurants, the Westin. So the consumption lounge really does provide not just an anchor to, the restaurant row, if you will, from the northern side, but it provides an opportunity to have more people come out here and frequent our businesses from all walks of life, not just the person that does want to come there and learn about cannabis. Moving into the next page, which is really the bulk of what I'm here to talk about, is the consumption safety protocols and different notes. This was given to the village prior to meeting with the Plan Commission. This is not based off of, a guess or reading. This is based off of studying and seeing what other people are doing, not just within Illinois, but in California. I did hear a comment earlier about a fact about Colorado. Well, Colorado actually just licensed consumption lounges on March 2nd to 2023. So the place to really look for facts and data on consumption is California. And they're expanding it out there. So there's a couple studies in here, which if anyone wants to read, that's great. But ultimately, we have a state-required security plan for consumption. We talked about the restrictions. You must have a reservation, 90-minute max, and a 30-minute cool down. Now, that 30-minute cool down is important because within 30 minutes of using cannabis, I believe it's 65% of that THC level is out of your blood system. So there's certain things that this is not just, a factor, or it's not just something we found off the internet. There's science and data to back up why we're doing certain things. There are THC limits. Now, just like in a bar, a restaurant, if somebody comes into one of my establishments and starts drinking Bacardi 151 martinis, which I don't know why anyone would do, but even if somebody comes in and they're choosing to bring in the most highest proof alcohol, maybe a Knob Creek 110 proof, 110.5 on a good day. It's our job as professionals to watch them. There's a difference between 2 or 3 glasses of wine and 3 Knob Creeks. So same thing goes with our THC limits. There's THC that's at a 16 to 18% level, which certain people may be able to smoke an entire joint or whatever their delivery vehicle is. And then there are other pre-rolls and things that, go up into the 80%. And by no means are we going to sit there and allow somebody to consume something of that high of a proof and sit there and let them be released out into society. That's what professional bartenders would do with a basket card, and that's exactly what our agents in charge are tasked to do as professionals that are licensed to be in this consumption lounge. So just like anything, there's a level of just safety and professionalism that we have to maintain to make sure that this doesn't get abused, just like alcohol can be abused. Full-time state licensed security, not just part of the dispensary, but also part of our security plan. We also just put our director of security for the restaurant group and the hospitality group through the state examination, and he passed. So very soon our entire group will be a licensed security agency by the state. Fully then coming under, once again, our insurance, which has effects on our other operations if something happens. Wait staff will be serving food. I am not aware of any, I'm not aware in California, food is served at all the places in Mundelein. There are places where you can order in from Grubhub and Uber at their consumption lounge. I am not aware of any science that says eating food is going to make you feel more high or more dangerous. From what I understand, drinking water and eating food is typically a good thing when you're consuming anything to help things pass through your system. No outside smoking devices, meaning that if you come there, you'll have to either purchase something or rent something from us. That's a way of making sure that no outside anything gets in, so we know exactly what is being consumed. Not sure if I said this, but edibles will not be allowed. Typically within, I think, 9 to 12 minutes of smoking, it hits your system at its highest blood potency, which is why we have that 30-minute cool down. Edibles are affected more by metabolism, which means it could be a 1 to 3 hour before you feel the effects, which is why we won't be allowing them. That is not a state law, by the way. That's not just something that we want to do, but that's what the standard is at almost every dispensary, consumption lounge, I'm sorry. Staff certification. There is an agent in charge, requires 8 hours of state mandated training to be able to be in our dispensary by themselves. You will need to be an agent in charge to work in the consumption lounge. So there is training. There's a lot of training that goes into this, especially if you want to give a good experience. Finally, no alcohol with cannabis consumption, no reentry, must be 21 or older to visit the consumption lounge or the dispensary in general. If you go to the next page, I am aware of a flyer that was, distributed around regarding Colorado. So, I'm not going to, read back anything here, but there were no sources attached to that. I did go and look up the Colorado Department of Transportation, as well as other sources from Colorado which dispute that, what we saw in the flyers. I talked about the state security plan, the 30-minute cool down, talked about consumption actually expanding in Mundelein, where now they're looking to add an outdoor live music and concert to Mundelein, which I think is great. But what you can see is that not only has it not been a bad mark on the community, but they're embraced it and they potentially are going to do more. And then there's also a company called SeshBus, which goes out there. They are all over the suburbs. They're all over the city. If anyone read the news in the Tribune on 420 and all these different things, SeshBus is a bus where people go to consume cannabis with a permit. They've been in this community. They're out there anyways. This is a strictly regulated consumption lounge with very, very specific rules to get in there within OK Cannabis Dispensary. But SeshBus has, from what I've understood, has a very professional organization. They do a lot of staff trainings, and they've been great. So it's legal in Illinois, and it's here. And then finally, in terms of driving, I would agree that nobody should drive intoxicated on any drug. And not trying to be tongue-in-cheek, but the Netherlands has had cannabis consumption lounges for 50 plus years, and it has one of the safest driving records. Safest fatality rates in all of the EU and the OECD, basically developed nations. In terms of where else is it legal, next pages, I have some other things which, if anyone would like to read or would like me to answer questions on, I can. I don't want to take up the entire evening. Some different ideas that we have on the social and educational activation strategies on the next page. And then I put together a consumption lounge FAQ page for the last presentation, which to a certain extent goes over a lot of the things that are restrictions on the approval if it's approved tonight, as well as things I've already spoken about. And with that, I'll turn it over to any questions.
Trustee Kruger, you were first, and then Trustee Pontos.
Thank you, Mr. President. Mr. Weiner, right?
Yes.
Thank you for your presentation. And you touched on my first question a little bit, so I want you to expound on it a little bit more. In the alcohol world, license holders must carry dram shop insurance, which is a liquor liability insurance, which protects the businesses that serve, distribute, and sell alcohol. And in Wheeling, our code requires that all servers of alcohol must be Bassett trained, which is this certification that all servers are aware and can recognize when an alcohol consumer has been overserved, thus taking the correct steps to prevent the patron from being served more or leaving the site in an unsafe state of mind. What provisions like these, if any, exist in the cannabis world? And if none, because this is so new, but I think you already said that they do, what does OK plan to do to ensure patron safety?
So there's a subscription service called Seed Talent. They're one of the licensed.
Seed Talent?
Seed Talent.
Seed Talent.
They're one of the licensed groups out there that our agents in charge, known as an AIC, can take their 8 hours.
AKA bud tender?
The bud tenders, exactly.
Got it.
I also had to do my 8 hours in there, and it has everything. There are certain things that you absolutely have to take in order to be allowed as an agent in that dispensary. And then there's a lot of other certifications, including every single cultivator that we do business with they have training material up there, and it's all timed, it's all regulated, the state recognizes it. So
That certification is annual, or?
it's an annual 8 hours.
Bassett isn't even that.
It is not, and it's you don't pass the test, you don't get a chance to take it over again right away. You have to know what you're doing.
Very good. And you mentioned one of the other consumption lounges nearby, Rise. And I think my understanding is that your criteria and model are more restrictive than theirs, or at least they're like the closest one to us.
They are restrictive, and we've been there, check out the competition, if you will, but also to see what they do well. I think it's a detriment that they don't have food in there, and we have a very unique facility that allows us to prepare food off-site, and they don't in their facility. But yes, we definitely have a very strict protocol. We've learned from them. We think they're running a professional operation, and but really the place to look that has been doing it the longest, since it was actually 2017 that the law passed in California to allow consumption lounges. However, the first one didn't open until 2019, and California is actually where to look to find the most background in research. And it was, in fact, Sarah, and I forgot her last name, but we did meet with her. It was a consultant out of California that Rise Mundelein hired to bring in to help them get started. So I think they're a well-run organization, and I hope that what we do is good for this community. But one other thing, you mentioned the insurance. Our insurance was actually a case study nationally, because it is the first dispensary with a liquor license, with a bakery that exists. So not only are we overinsured, but I also have an umbrella policy I have a separate policy on my restaurant group, since my restaurant group's insurance doesn't cover specifics of the cannabis. So I have a second umbrella policy there, and everything's coordinated to make sure that not only is the village protected, but we're protected.
Fair enough. My next question, thank you. My next question would probably be more for Director Clicker. Or even Chief Dunn. We have 2 dispensaries in town, and I just want to know if there has been any increase in DUI or anything, certainly for cannabis violations. Have we experienced any problems?
I will definitely defer to Chief Dunn on that question.
Thank you, Trustee Kruger. We have not experienced any increase in impaired driving due to the dispensaries being open. And I guess anecdotally, there's been no increase whatsoever in DUI or impaired driving since the pandemic. I did today take a look at crash reports along Lake Cook Road. You take a look, Hatch opened in April of 2021. In 2020, we had 104 crashes on Lake Cook Road. In 2021, 106, and in 2022, 93. So we're about the same, dropping a little bit, so I find no correlation between these businesses and traffic crashes on the roadways. And taking a look at our impaired driving arrests and locations, there's been no rise statistically.
Very good. Thank you so much. That's the end of my questions. Thank you.
Thank you, Trustee Krueger. Trustee Papantos, and then Trustee Rufato.
Thank you. Mr. Weiner, and thank you for the presentation. You are inspected by whom and how often?
Illinois State Police, they inspect us monthly. We also have to hold 90 days of camera footage from the entire facility, and we also have surprise inspections from the Illinois Department of Financial and Professional Regulations. So far, we've had our monthly state police inspections on progress, and I think we've had 2 from the Financial and Professional Relations.
So you are extremely regulated. I would venture to guess more so than any bar or any of your restaurants?
There's nothing that compares to the amount of regulation and compliance that we are subject to, and that's actually enforced from what we're experiencing in cannabis.
And have there been any citations issued based on the inspections?
We have not had any citations issued.
So you're doing your job correctly?
Yes, we are.
Or you and your staff, I should say, and the other owners.
My staff, they are taking this, I also, this is my first foray into this industry, and I've been impressed by the amount of professionalism the people that work within our organization and many of the dispensaries that I've seen, including Hatch and Wheeling, this is their craft. They take a great amount of pride in talking to guests that come into the dispensary. And so I feel lucky to have these people.
I think you are. What will be the capacity, including staff, for the lounge?
I think, as it was stated earlier, there's not a ton of tables in here. So there is capacity for along the railing, and in a private event type of venue to probably have about 50 to 60 people in there. What we'd like to see, and one of the things that we've struggled with so far is, as one of the things I thought we would be busier with when we opened was I thought we'd have more of a morning coffee, people hanging out on their laptops and working during the day. So far, what I've been seeing is people coming in for dessert throughout the day, picking up things. We see a lot of people for dessert at night, especially after Cooper's Hawk and my favorite Spears. But I'd like to see more people there during the day hanging out and doing work on the laptops in that room. And in that case, there could be 25 people in there. From a staffing perspective, as of now, it's reservation only. So we're going to be staffing based on the reservations. If there's no reservations for a night, we'll probably have 1 to 2 people scheduled to be there. If we find that this is starting to take off, then we're going to need to staff more people. On a recent visit to Rise and Mundelein, what we saw was typically no more than 3 to 4 tables at a time. It wasn't a packed line out the door thing. It was sort of just kind of a laid back, mellow room. And they had 2 to 3 people in there servicing the entire facility.
And then, and you touched on it, the reservation, so is it kind of like a table seating where you say that it's, 3 o'clock, 5 o'clock, whatever, that people come in at that time, not scattered?
You'll be able to go on Open Table and make a reservation just like any restaurant. I don't suspect that we're going to, just like we wouldn't flat seat a kitchen because the experience wouldn't be good. I don't think that we're going to be allowing, there's going to be a structured staggering of people in there. And, as the team gets more experienced, we can usually allow more people in on every 15 to 30-minute interval. But with that said, this is a very labor intensive. For example, if we are rolling something or helping with the delivery device, it's a time. So, you know, from a financial side, it doesn't make sense for us to have 5 people standing around all take care of one table that comes in at the exact same time. It makes more sense to stagger.
And you mentioned, Rise using Grubhub or, you know, having food delivered. Are you only going to allow food from the bakery?
Yeah, yeah, we're able to serve our own food there, and you know, if you've been to there, you know, we've had right now wings and walking tacos are on special. We did some different things on Mother's Day, some specialty cakes, and you know, we have a brunch rolling out soon. So the hope is to kind of change it up seasonally, and we have talked about doing some pop-ups with some different restaurants in the community, as well as outside of the community. A very famous deli downtown on Jefferson. So, you know, it's going to be a mix, but mostly we're going to do our own thing.
Great. Thank you.
Thank you, Trustee Papantos. Trustee Rufato, then Trustee Lang.
Thank you. Thank you. So if someone makes a reservation on Open Table, they're making it for 2 hours, I assume, because 90-minute and then a 30-minute cool down?
It's just going to be a reservation, but yeah, all the rules and regulations will be in there.
So then walk me through, because they have to buy something from your dispensary. So they're going to walk in, and is that where the check-in will occur?
So they'll first check in with our security when we check ID.
Right.
Then again, they'll go to we call it the host stand. I don't know what they call it in other dispensaries, but I'm a restaurant guy. So they're gonna be checked in there, and at that point, I'm not sure what the exact step of service will be, if we'll ask them if they have a consumption reservation or if they'll tell us. But regardless, they'll need to go through the dispensary. That's where then make a purchase in order to get into the consumption lounge. So there'll be no way to go directly into the consumption lounge from the main hallway, if you will.
All right, because and the reason why I asked that is on the layout, on the floor layout, you've got the lounge entrance exit, that's just entrance exit, so somebody can go in there from staff, but somebody that's in there consuming cannot leave.
There's no re-entry. I mean, you can't leave the premises. There is a restroom, and we are going to allow people to use the restroom. What we're not going to allow is somebody to come in there, buy cannabis, use cannabis, leave, and then just come back to hang out.
Okay, cool. And then what about ordering food from West Town? Will that be done through an app, so it'll be delivered to them?
Once again, the law states that you cannot prepare food in the consumption lounge.
Right.
So what we will do is have a server with our bud tender, if you will, with a handheld device, and then they would go next door and place that order.
Okay, all right. Okay, that was my question. And then you'll have somebody in the lounge monitoring the 90 minutes?
Yeah, what some of the other dispensaries do, and this for me might be a little challenging, but they actually put a device on the table to monitor it. So each, within a half-hour glass, if you will. But that's what we've seen at other places. For me, I wouldn't be able to handle an hourglass in front of me, but there will be a mechanism so they know and we know that we're all on the same timetable.
Okay, great. Thank you. That's all I have.
Sure.
Thank you, Trustee Rufato. Trustee Lang.
Thank you. You answered a lot of questions about reservations, and that's what I had a question about, but can you make an instant reservation? If you're in there shopping and decide that you want to try something, good point. Can you do an instant reservation, or is it not working that way?
We haven't discussed it, and frankly, the idea behind the reservations is similar to during COVID when you had to track people's time in the facility. It's a matter of tracking who comes into the facility, how long they're there, when they arrive, and when they leave. Once you check in for your table on Open Table, we have a record of when they came. Once they go to their cool down period, if you will, use Open Table once again to have a record of when that started, or the half-hour glass. So I don't see any reason why we wouldn't allow someone to say, hey, I'd like to make a reservation, but it's not going to be, well, there's 4 tables set in there, there's an empty one, and can I make a reservation? That reservation may be, yes, we can seat you in 30 minutes. The idea is not to just pack the people in.
Well, I thought I had a billion questions for you tonight, but between the Plan Commission, they were pretty thorough with you, and your report was excellent. So it was pretty informative, so.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Trustee Lang. Any other questions or comments? There does not appear to be. I liked a lot of the conditions that you recommended. I think we should consider making them a part of our standard operating code book for these types of things. If there are no other questions or comments, we need a motion approve with the conditions as amended.
So moved.
Trustee Kruger, second.
Second.
Trustee Lang beat you. Clerk Brady, roll call, please.
Trustee Vogel?
Yes.
Trustee Papantos?
Yes.
Trustee Vito?
Yes.
Trustee Lang?
Yes.
Trustee Kruger?
Yes.
Trustee Rafato?
Yes.
President Horker?
Yes. Good luck, sir.
Thank you.
13B, ordinance granting special use approval to permit the operation of an animal boarding and training facility at 530 West Hintz Road, Waggles Pet Resort, docket number 2023-16.
Waggles. Yes.
Mr. Clicker. Yes, before you have a request from Waggles Pet Resort. They're seeking a special use to operate an animal boarding and training facility at 530 West Hintz within the I-1 Light Industrial and Office Zoning District. This would actually be their second expansion of services since they've been in operation for now just under 2 years?
2.5 years.
2.5 years. Their second expansion, all within Wheeling. So this was heard at the April 26th Plan Commission hearing and received a recommendation of approval with one condition, that there shall be no customer drop-off or pickup of pets at the subject site. All customer drop-off and pickup for any operations by the petitioner shall only occur at 419 Harvester Court. With that condition, it was recommended for approval.
Questions or comments from the board? All right.
Is there a 30-minute cool-down period if a cat? Or do you let the cats go right away?
I think the cats are over it quick from my experience, probably only a couple minutes.
Scott didn't even laugh at that.
He still wound up pretty tight trying to figure out what was going on.
If the board would like, I could give a quick summary too. Or
Please.
just a few questions.
Please do.
Great. Thank you very much. I'm Ross Nyhouse, owner of Waggles Pet Resort. Nice to see everybody again. This is our third time coming before the board in 2.5 years. The first time was to open our main facility, the second time to open a training center, and now to open an enrichment center. So the idea here is when we first opened our pet resort, we were able to service dogs who were well socialized and played in groups with other dogs, as well as dogs who did not like to play in group for whatever reason. We call that individual or non-group play. It turns out there are so many dogs that like to play in group that ended up taking up all our space, which is great, but it's also a little unfortunate because there are many dogs who don't like to play in a big group but still need boarding and care and services, and so we are looking for a way to service them as well. It just so happens that our main space is at 419 Harvester Court, so just a few minutes on the other side of the train tracks there. And then just 3 minutes away is where we have our training center, which is in a multi-unit building. And it turns out that right next to our training center, a 6,000 square foot warehouse space became available. And that's what we're proposing to be our enrichment center. We'll put a door between the two spaces. We'll make it a combined training and enrichment center. The idea is it's a big open space where we can set up some individual play yards so dogs can play one-on-one with a staff member. We're also developing what we call an enrichment curriculum, and that's not our term, that is out there, the idea of canine enrichment, and there are some standards for it, and there's all sorts of different games and activities that are called enrichment activities. They appeal to dogs' innate
senses and behaviors and instincts. And so we're coming up with a little curriculum that we'll develop over time. Eventually, we can even start doing some type of light training and tricks as the program develops. The dogs are going to board, at least to start, at our main facility, 419 Harvester Court, and we will use our buses to transport them over to the Enrichment Center during the day for their play sessions. It is a part of our normal operations to have dog buses. We call it chauffeur service. And so these are two vans specially built out to drive for pet transport, and then we have a couple other smaller vehicles that we use. So they'll sleep overnight at our main space, get fed, do potty breaks. We'll move them over to the Enrichment Center, do the enrichment activities during the day, and in the evening, bring them back, and that's where they'll sleep. As the business grows, and in particular, even soon during holidays, we would like to board those dogs overnight at this space because there are heavy boarding periods. There's a great need. So we are asking for the special use to include permission to board overnight, but the plan, at least to start, is to not actually do that, is to use it mainly during the day, but then as the operation gets going, to eventually board the dogs there overnight. With that, I'm happy to answer any questions.
Trustee Papantos?
Thank you, and thank you for growing and wheeling. It sounds like business is doing good, or you wouldn't be here for the third time, obviously.
That's right. No, thank goodness. Business is good. Like I said, group dogs, non-group dogs, and our training program is getting going as well.
So have you come close to your capacity at this point? Or?
Yeah, we're turning away dogs pretty much every day. We're putting reservations on wait list in our main facility.
And will this addition allow you to have more animals?
It absolutely will, and an entirely different population of dogs. As we thought about how to expand, one option was to go to a different geographical area where we could, just serve different customer base. But we realized that there's many dogs within the same customer base that we aren't able to serve currently, and so it made sense to introduce a new service in this way.
And the last time you were here was when you were opening the training facility. How is that going? Because I think it was over a week or 2 weeks that the dogs were trained.
That's right, our board and train program. So it launched, it's very popular. We actually had to put a pause on staffing to train up, or on our intake to train up more dog trainers. And so we are now starting to accept dogs once again. So we did a number of basic obedience programs. Yes, they're board and trains where the dogs will stay with us for a period of weeks. So we paused it temporarily. We're restarting it again. As the program goes, eventually we may offer a day training program, but for the moment it still is the overnight board and train program.
Thank you. It's great to hear a business doing well and expanding and wheeling, so thank you for choosing us.
Thank you very much for all your support.
Thank you, Trustee Papantos. If there are no other questions, need a motion to approve.
Sorry, one other point I'll just make real quickly. When we talk about non-group play dogs, we're not talking about aggressive dogs. We're not talking about the dogs that are aggressive towards people or even towards other dogs. These are dogs that don't like to play in group because they're shy, they're nervous, maybe their personality, not every dog likes to play in a group, or they may have some degree of reactivity, but just want to mention that.
Do you take pictures of the dogs in the van?
We've got some good photos and videos for sure.
Thank you.
Motion to approve.
So moved.
Second. Papantos, second. Trustee Kruger, roll call, please.
Trustee Papantos?
Yes.
Trustee Vito?
Yes.
Trustee Lang?
Yes.
Trustee Kruger?
Yes.
Trustee Rufato?
Yes.
Trustee Vogel?
Yes.
President Horker?
Yes. There you go.
Thank you so much again for your continued support.
Official communications. Once again, I would like to thank the police department, the fire department for all they do for our community. I do periodically, when we have swearing-ins of new officers, I do make it a point of thanking the family for sharing the new officers with us, because the amount of time and commitment that it does take really does mean that that person's family is going to be sharing this officer with us. And it's a very serious commitment, and it's, again, thank both of you for the incredible job you do for our community. So thank you, guys. And that's all I have. Quick. Trustee Pantos?
Thank you. Just a quick question. Are we starting groundbreaking on the new fire station yet?
We will. They're putting the fences up now. We're going to do some groundwork on Thursday, so we'll be breaking ground this week, and then progress, we'll keep you abreast of all the progress over the next year. They were thinking maybe February or March we'd be done, but we'll see.
Fantastic. Thank you.
Thank you.
If there are no other questions or comments, we have one final piece of business to attend to, approval of bills from April 27th till May 10th, 2023. Can I have a motion?
So moved.
Trustee Papantos, second.
Second.
Trustee Rufato, roll call, please.
Trustee Vito?
Yes.
Trustee Lang?
Yes.
Trustee Krueger?
Yes.
Trustee Rufato?
Yes.
Trustee Vogel?
Yes.
Trustee Papantos?
Yes.
President Horker?
Yes, we have no executive session this evening. That means I need a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Trustee Krueger, second.
Second.
Trustee Vito. All in favor?
Aye.